Here's a news flash for you. It's expensive to rent a place in LA, but it could actually be worse. There are other American cities that are even more costly. Check out this map from the apartment rental app RadPad. New York, San Francisco, and Boston are all more expensive than Los Angeles. Seattle isn't far behind. Well, to get a bargain, get away from the coast. Orlando, Austin, and Houston are also considerably cheaper. Jonathan Eppers from RadPad is here to talk more about the numbers. And Jonathan, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Good to see you.
Well, Merry Christmas to you. When we look at those numbers, you know, they're pretty daunting. Unless you're a landlord, you might like that list. What do you say to renters out there who are trying to find a place that's affordable?
Yeah, I would say, you know, it's challenging right now. I mean, there's a lot of people that I hear from that, you know, go to find a place and then they find out someone got it, so they have to go and find another place. And so I think the biggest piece of advice I would give someone is if you have some time and you know you're going to have to move soon, start looking now. It doesn't hurt to get a head start and really see what's out there. Get a sense for what things are going to cost you.
When we look at the list, we know that for a one-bedroom here in Los Angeles, it's about $1,600 a month. That's the average. And then when you look at a two-bedroom, it pumps up to about $2,300. So that's a lot of money, especially for somebody who's just starting out.
Yep.
What would you say to people about how to get into a community that has the greatest value?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think, you know, it depends. A lot of people move close to where they work, or they move close to where their friends are at, or they move close to where the shopping centers are at, depending on who you are, you know? And certainly what's nice is that there's a lot of new developments around the city. So I think what's happening now is people who are thinking, I want to live on the west side, maybe looking more inland a little bit further. And the thing is, you know, there's a lot of great places inland that renters are considering that previously they really weren't. So, and that's like Culver City, Los Feliz, Hollywood.
Right there, we're showing folks what it costs here in LA, about $1,600 a month here in Los Angeles. New York, almost $3,000. When you look at those numbers, though, LA, fourth on the list, I'm a little surprised, actually, and I don't mean to be a doomsayer, that it's not higher.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is we're losing the rent wars, if you want to call it that. But, you know, renters are feeling it out here. I mean, we've had some of the highest % overall rent increases in the last year in Los Angeles. So while we may be somewhere in the middle, and we're still on the upper side of kind of the average median rents across the country, certainly people are feeling it in their pockets because they're paying more this year, a lot more this year than they were, say, a year ago.
When we talk about trends, you know, my generation, we grew up thinking the white picket fence was everything. But for somebody your age, actually, that's not necessarily the brass ring.
Exactly. I mean, you know, it's like when we get out of college, we'll call millennials, you know, our thoughts are not, let's buy a house. Our thoughts are, let's move to a cool place, you know, let's move to a cool part of town, let's move near our friends. And, you know, so many students today or young people are getting out of college with a lot of student debt. And the last thing they're thinking about is forking over more debt to buy a house. So, you know, you can get a lot of value today in an apartment that, you know, a decade ago you couldn't. And so what we're seeing is a lot more people renting longer. And we're seeing people that were previously homeowners coming out of kind of the housing bust of 2009 to 2011 coming into the rental market. So it's put a lot of pressures on rent prices and why we're seeing those increases.
Well, Jonathan, if there's a silver lining to any of this, usually in the winter you can get a better deal because people who do have kids aren't rushing to get in the fall, right?
Yeah. That's actually a really great point. Is right now is a really great time to start looking for a place, especially we're coming into a new year. People kind of thinking to themselves, do I really want to, you know, I'm ready to make a change in my life, and a lot of times that's finding a new place to live. And it's really a great time now to start looking for the new year. And one of, I think, the biggest piece of advice is I would give renters today is while we're in the holiday season and we're all out looking for gifts, you know, if you're thinking about moving next year, save a little bit because your deposit's going to cost you a little bit more this coming year than it did last year.
All right, good advice always. Thanks. Jonathan Eppers, thank you so much. And Jeff, back to you.